All right, welcome back. So now we are moving on to removing the bank one camshafts. I looked at the TIS, specifies a special tool to remove them. I don't have it. Reason being they're asking for that tool is because some of these cam lobes are down. So that means we have tension applied to the cam. And the second reason why is because the camshafts are hollow. Hopefully you can see that, but they're hollow all the way through. So the risk we have is that you could, in theory, when you're removing the camshaft, if you do it unevenly or incorrectly, you could snap the cam. Most modern engines these days have hollow camshafts. They do it for weight savings. So, in the absence of the special tool, we're just going to take our time. We're going to go very slowly, essentially quarter turns evenly across the entire length of the camshaft. We're going to start by undoing the bridge cap right here. So this actually covers both cams. So we're going to take that off first and then take the rest of them off. And there is no sequence that the TIS specifies for removing. So there's no order that it says to do it other than releasing the bridge first. But otherwise it just says, hey, take them off, essentially in sequence. And then there's the special tool that it specifies that thing. So that what that does is applies pressure evenly to the top of the camshaft to hold it down while you are removing each cam, which is all well and good, but that's going to be a BMW specific tool, no doubt. And again, I do not have it. So we're just going to take our time. Alrighty. So the cam caps are going to be a T45 right there. Before we do that, we're going to remove our cam locking tool. We don't need it anymore, so okay. Just put that loose there for now. We're going to use these again on bank 2 here pretty quick. And we're actually done with 1 through 5, so put that all the way down. There you go. Holding those guys to the side. All right. So, again, there's no order that the TIS specifies. We are starting with the bridge, and we're just going to go slowly and evenly. And once you crack them loose, especially with the bridge one, you can use your electric tool. You just don't want to put any, like, you know, where the hammer, you don't want to hammer on them. So just slowly to draw them out. One thing also that's critically important, you want to, as much as realistic, keep these screws where they came from as well. So the intake looks very nice. The exhaust has a little bit of where I don't feel anything. So that should polish right up. The intake is quite nice, tiny bit. I hardly can tell though. So we're keeping these guys again in order as much as humanly possible. It's correction, they must stay in order. All right. So we're going to start intake cam. I was probing to see if there was a position the cam liked better. Not as important now, obviously, to keep anything timed. So So at this point, none of them have any tension on them. And that's the slow, tedious process that this is, but it's imperative that you go slowly and do not overstress one side of the cam over the other. If you tighten down one side or loosen up one side greater than the other, then you risk snapping the camshaft in half, which would be a very expensive mistake. As I mentioned, I intend to replace these with Schrick cams. But still not something you necessarily want to do. There you are. Pretty gnarly. Wow, something went, maybe? I don't know. We'll take a look at it. Right this second, we're gonna just stick that guy there. Okay. Nope. Fine. So let's look at these one at a time. Grab a clean paper towel. So the top of the cam cap is always going to show more significant the wear than the bottom, simply because that's where the brunt of the force is taking place. But this is the number one position, so right here. And you know, there's somewhere. Not too freaked out about it. I've watched a few videos and basically seen the same degree of wear. So, you know, a mirror finish would be ideal, but what are you gonna do? One's got a bit more wear than the other. Yeah, this is also indicative of a going too long between changes. That is the worst wear of the bunch so far. Definitely got a groove there. And really the only thing you can do is try and polish it out. You can't just buy another cam cap because it's a line board with the cylinder head. So if you buy new cam caps, you got to take the whole head to get a line board at a machinist. And yeah. And that assumes BMW even sells the stinking cam caps. They may just tell you, oh, sorry, you got to buy a whole cylinder head. And I cringe at the thought of that. That being said, the lifters look pretty good, which corresponds to the condition of the cam lobe, so I'm not really worried about that. We'll reuse the lifters. I don't see a point to change those out. That would get really quite expensive. At that point, you may as well just call BMW and tell them to make you a whole new engine. All right. So we're going to repeat the process here and soldier on. gonna go get a lighter, smaller ratchet, so I'm not waving that heavy thing around. Could make a rifle barrel out of that. That's funny. There's my indexing numbers. All right. Same kind of thing. Yeah, I'll just lay them all on their side. They're not wanting to cooperate the way I want them to. As long as they're in order, that's all that matters. That one looks nice. Yeah, 5's not bad either. Okay. So, I mean, they're all uniformly the same in terms of wear. Some are a little nicer than others. They're all going to have to get some kind of polish on them. That's just the reality of 15,000 mile oil change intervals. Whatever moron decided that was a great idea. But base of the journals look great. Again, most of the wear is going to be on the cam caps. Because that's just where the action happens, if you will. This one you can see a little, it's not quite as mirror finish. It's because you got the chain pulling down on that cam in particular. Puts a little extra pressure on that journal. Otherwise, looks pretty good. You know, no obvious indication from what I can see of a, oh crap, something went horribly wrong. Yeah, I mean, the oil looks fine, honestly. Okay. So, next step on this cylinder head is to remove it. But before we do that, we are going to jump back to bank 2 and rinse and repeat. So, remove the chain tensioner, or not tensioner, excuse me, the guide bolt. We're going to lock tool in place, unbolt the hubs, and then we will go to removing the cams. And honestly, that'll probably close us out for the day. So let me get some stuff squared away first, and we will jump back in.